in looking at new data on a publication that comes out of an evidentiary basis regarding a randomized controlled trial or an observational trial or a large database, the key issues are to look at the methodology section of the paper to understand what number of patients they recruited and how many they actually had, and how long the trial went, and the meaningfulness of that is safety is related to exposure. How many patients were actually exposed to the dose of the drug that you're interested in, and under those circumstances that you can understand whether or not something is at a rate of 1% or 0.1%. So in the context of benefit, you can understand the rate of harm. And that's the decision to decide on whether something can work or not. You also need to know whether or not people drop out of the trial or not, and how that data was handled. Was it handled by saying that the dropouts related to adverse events were noted and delineated and were adjudicated to determine whether there was causality, meaning did the drug actually cause it, or was there something else going on? So there's something called the rule of threes as it relates to exposure. And if you're interested in an event rate, a safety event rate of 1%, there should be at least 300 patients exposed in the trial to the drug that you're interested in. So that means a trial is about 600 people if they're just two arms of comparison. But recently we've become more interested in more significant lower rates of incidence. And so most people are interested in a 0.1% event rate. And under those circumstances, that should be about 3,000 patients exposed for a year. So in these contexts, the number of patients and the length of time allows you to understand better the safety signals. So in carrying out clinical trials, there are many different aspects to that, one of which is you're getting the right patients in. There is inclusion-exclusion criteria for entry into a trial, and sometimes these are waffled to get the patients in faster or more people in. So you want to be sure that your inclusion-exclusion criteria are appropriate and are done and handled correctly. Secondly, conduct means that the patients are seen, they're evaluated appropriately, and the forms are filled out right. There's data in the literature that suggests that a lot of people fill out forms inappropriately, and that then gets translated to maybe that's true or maybe that's not true. And also that you can actually delineate where the patients start and what happens to them during the trial. And the trial should have a diagram called the Consort diagram of patient distribution. If they don't have that, I'm not so sure how I understand how well a trial was run or not.